Friday the 13th, the final chapter from 1984. After 3 films, first with Jason's mother, then twice with Jason, he is about to have the unluckiest day of his life as he returns in a cabin with the words, "Not set on Camp Crystal Lake." One of my favorites in the franchise, as it brings back Tom Savini doing the special makeup effects once again. Plus, you get both Corey Feldman and Crispin Glover in their early performances, which is another bonus, in my opinion. Same setting from Friday the 13th Part 3, but this time you have more teens plus a family staying at a remote cabin in the woods as Jason once again comes back to life and escapes from the morgue and causes more carnage, while it's up to a kid who can defeat Jason, and he's into special effects makeup, artistry, and you wouldn't believe how Jason gets killed in this entry. It's ultimately gruesome and awesome at the same time. Can't say enough more good things about the final chapter. As for leaving viewers the question, has Jason been justified for real? Well, I won't give away the huge finale, but just see it for yourself. Which, of course, we all know what came next afterwards. At least, it's still another fan favorite score in the franchise, as I personally rank this one just before Jason Lives. Good stuff like always, as I wish I could have said more this time around. But Jaws, The Revenge, from 1987. The great white shark's reign of terror in the ocean makes one last swim and attacks the Brody family once again in this swan song to the classic franchise from Universal Pictures. Taking place where Jaws 2 ended and begins a new chapter when Ellen Brody, mourning the loss of both her heroic husband and her first son, as he decides to pay a visit with her other son in the Bahamas, getting to know his family along with a pilot. That all seems to help shake off the traumas he had until the shark makes an unexpected visit, to which it's time she must search and destroy that creature herself. This one has always been my favorite sequel of the franchise, as I grew up watching it in my childhood, even though many considered this as the worst entry. I still find some things quite surprisingly good with its action and horror of Ellen's journey that captures the spirit of its legendary first 2 entries, while centering the themes of loss and family, as you've been with them forever. This is what I like to personally call as Jaws 3, officially, because the third film didn't relate to Enemy Island. What surprises me today is the fact I've seen the extended cut on home video without even looking on the cover's bumper. And that is a real bonus, as I recommend tracking that cut down on either VHS or Laserdisc. Not sure if it's included in all today's format releases or not. I'll have to double check. Michael Caine and Melvin Van Peebles both co-starring is another awesome bonus too. A decent film sequel, as I rate this one high than Jaws 2 in my opinion, but nothing shall ever top Spielberg's 1975 classic when it comes to ranking that franchise overall. Alien Resurrection from 1997. I have an odd love-hate history with this particular sequel, as it takes place centuries after Alien 3 concluded. Yet, they decide to clone and resurrect Ripley and experiment with all things its xenomorphs. That is until a ragtag crew comes in to pick her up and all hell breaks loose. It's not one of my favorites in the franchise, yet it does have plenty of entertaining moments that are guilty pleasure level, alongside a good all-star cast led by the imaginative Jean-Pierre Jeunet, who gave us Amelie and the City of Lost Children. I remember catching it when it was new to pay-per-view as a child, and having to like it back then, to which I now see it as a campy entry to the franchise, using the zany style that he had in Delicacy and the City of Lost Children, makes it have a thing of its own in the franchise. I mean, a lot of weird things going on in Alien Resurrection, with some new aliens and Ripley returning. Seems like a question of taste to me, as being a fan on the first three films, to which I believe were far superior than Alien Resurrection in my opinion. Yet, it is something I would rewatch on a rare occasion every now and then, just for not a solid entry, but still a most bizarre one to date. And if you thought that concluded everything, well, wait till you see it meets its match. The Howling Boy, the original Nightmare from 1988. So this is not a sequel. This is just basically a remake of the first film, as it covers more from the first novel that was left out in Joe Dante's 1981 classic Shocker. But why call it a remake when you have a sequel in mind, though? Who's gonna know? Unfortunately, I don't have a lot to say other than it's one of the weaker entries. To be honest, I know the franchise went downhill as the second film was made in '85, and I know fans hate that one. I can understand that. But this one is somewhat follows closely to the novel, but has some weird ideas, including a transformation sequence that feels like out of The Incredible Melting Man. I mean, melting to turn yourself into a werewolf? That is just so bizarre, but hilarious to look at. Oh well, at least you got the next film that's considered a remake, as with the fourth film I'm mentioning here, so this is why I ranked at this place. Because I don't feel that the franchise has done much justice after getting through the first two, and then 3 is just a standalone and it's just gotten way wonky out there. So, you know what I mean. I personally would stick to the first 2 films myself instead.